I've walked the
on this issue. So, Angela.
Thanks, Sam. Hey everyone, thanks so much for being here. Moms Demand Action is a group that's close to my heart. I've been volunteering with them for years. Moms Demand Action was started in 2012 after a bunch of very small children were massacred. I'm sure many of you remember Sandy Hook. And so many people thought if nothing changes after this, nothing will ever change. And it's been slow coming, but I promise you things have changed, things continue to change, and things will continue to change because we're gonna keep pushing. So I have 3 children. My older 2 are 19 and 20, so they were the same age as those kids. My 3rd child is 6 and she's in 1st grade, so now she's that age. We lived in West Dallas at the time that it happened, and I remember going to pick them up after school and every parent meeting their eyes, the kids wondering, why is my mom hugging me so tight? She never hugs me this tight when we get home. And honestly, since that day, pretty much every day I hug my kids that tight because it's like, oh, so not one of us is immune to this. Many of us recognize that. We remember that day last May when, that tragedy came to Mount Horeb. I live across the street from the middle school on Lincoln, so my 19 and 20-year-olds they happened to both be at home that morning, so I called them. I said, lock the doors, hang out in the basement, we don't know what's going on. I want to make sure you're safe. And I know people who were friends with the child who started it and was eventually killed. And I know so many children who are that age who can't go into spaces where there are big groups of people like that anymore, some of whom never returned to the middle school after that. So, and those ripples we feel all through our community. But again, things are changing. People talk about the NRA all the time, what the NRA has done. They used to be this fantastic group that taught all these great gun safety classes. Now they're a lobbying arm of the gun manufacturers. When Moms Demand Action started in 2012, it started at a kitchen counter in Indiana, just a mom saying, we can't do this anymore, this is not okay. And at that time, most politicians, regardless of which aisle of Congress they sat on, most of them had an A or a B rating from the NRA, meaning they would take money and they would make sure that the votes went the way the NRA said they should go. That's not the case anymore. There's not a Democrat in Congress who has a rating like that anymore. And there are fewer Republicans. There are still plenty who are happy to stand up and say our guns are more important. There was a mass shooting, so we're going to wear our AR-15 pin instead of our American flag pin, or whatever the case may be. But it is not a topic that everyone shies away from anymore. It is one that they recognize, as Tim's shirt shows, thoughts and prayers, they're not enough. Those don't protect our kids. Can they help people sometimes? Can they give some people comfort? Yes, but you must have policy and change with them. And that's a big part of what Moms Demand Action is working to do. We are the biggest grassroots movement against, as far as gun violence prevention in the country. We have about 11 million supporters across the country, in every state, every territory, and we continue to gather, to talk, to have conversations. We are nonpartisan. We tend to fall more to the left end of the political spectrum, but that's simply because of who's willing to talk to us and who's willing to make these changes and see what kind of changes are proven to make a difference. Coming up on Tuesday in Wisconsin, every other year we meet with our representatives in the Wisconsin State House, and we have that coming up on Tuesday. If anyone is interested in coming to that, we would love to have you. talk to me and I can show you where to sign up for it. Unfortunately, we don't have buses, but people are certainly welcome to carpool. But what we do is we gather and we have groups between 5 and 15 people where you'll meet, you'll have specific things that you're talked to about, and there are specific pieces of legislation that are happening right now, everything from getting rid of the tax on gun safes and other things to keep firearms more securely stored, which has bipartisan support. We have what a lot of people think of as a red flag law, so that with due process, we can remove temporarily firearms from people who are a danger to themselves or to others. And there is always due process. People are concerned that we're gun grabbers, and a lot of us know that the world would be a lot safer with fewer guns on the streets, but we're gonna do what we can in every way that we can just to make people be as safe as possible, knowing that not everyone is ever gonna go for that. So we're gonna make those incremental changes where we can. And those ERPO laws in a lot of other states, including very red states like Indiana, have shown that suicide alone drops by about 15% when those are implemented and properly implemented. So we have a number of different bills that we're talking to our legislators about, and we're gathering. Looks like we're probably going to have about 200 people there, which is incredible. So if anyone is interested in that, please, please, please come and talk to me. We would love to have you. The more people that we can have there, the better, because we know what a difference it makes when our elected officials talk to us, hear from us, hear our stories, and hear why things are important to us. We can't always meet with all of them, and some of them don't listen. So a number of us have, one thing, every town is the umbrella organization of Moms Demand Action, Students Demand Action, Mayors Against Illegal Guns, and a couple of other smaller groups, and they do a ton of research. But yeah, so I forget where I was going with this. But they do a lot of research anyway that will show why things are successful, why things are helpful, and the differences they make. And they also have a legal arm who helps to put together some of these things and then teach us how it can help so that we can present these to our lawmakers. So we're going to have a couple people from every town there and some of our coalition partners. Some of you might be familiar with WAVE, Wisconsin Anti-Violence Education. They've been doing gun violence prevention in Wisconsin for 30 plus years, and a number of other groups, Brady, Giffords, and a number of others. So anyone who wants to join us, talk to me. If anyone is interested in doing some other work, I know where I was going with it. I was going to talk about our Demand a Seat program. They offer free training to Moms Demand Action volunteers who are looking to run for office, so that, say you have a Senator Mark Klein who says, yes, let's have a meeting, and then says, I have no record of this and I don't have time for you. You can find people who can run against him and potentially unseat him next year. So that's kind of what we're hoping. So if any of you are interested in anything like that, or even just the conversations that we can have with the people in our community, with our friends, with people that agree with you and that might not realize how much they do agree with you, because the majority of people, if you have conversations, even the furthest to the right, on a lot of these issues, they agree more than they realize. And once they have a conversation, it's like, oh yeah, we do want our community to be safer. We do want to make sure that our kids are safe in school. We might not know the same ways to go about it, but we agree, there's a lot of ways that we can learn to have conversations with people so that we can make these differences, so we can make our communities safer. And that's really the most important thing that we can and do work toward. All of you being here for this event is great, and it shows just how important this issue is to all of you. It's fantastic to have this great music, because music moves people and touches people's hearts. So thank you all for being here. Yes, do you have a question? So on Tuesday, we are meeting at the Capitol. We have Moms Demand Action volunteers and other people who are who want to make a difference in the gun violence prevention movement. We're all meeting at the Capitol, and we're meeting with different legislators. So anyone who's available will be there from 9 a.m. till around 3 p.m. Most of the meetings go from 11 until 3, but let me know and I can point you to the right place to get signed up. We would love to have you. We did a training earlier today, but they can send out the recording to anyone if you want to have that information about kind of some of the words we use. You know, instead of saying gun control, we talk about common sense gun legislation or firearm legislation, because people hear gun control and they think you're taking away all my rights, but they hear common sense legislation and they're like, okay, yeah, let's talk about this. So just little things like that can make a big difference in people giving you 20 seconds instead of cutting you off after 3. So it's a good way to make some inroads. So yeah, anyone who's interested at all, please come and talk to me. I'd be happy to, like I said, point you to where you need to be to sign up, and we would love to have any of you that are willing and able to come and see us. Come with us.
You have walked the mile.